What is up, Sideways fam? Welcome back to the channel. As we can see, we got another 240 in the shop today. It's been a while. We're going to be doing some little drift car 101 today, building a quick little drift car build, little street car build, nothing too crazy. And as we can see right here, we have a Mark IV Supra 2JZ GE non-BVTI with a distributor right here. Basically, I had some extra motors. Customer was looking for a cheap swap because his KA right here is in too many pieces. A lot of things missing. I'll go ahead and show you that, but it was just kind of not worth saving for the amount of money we're gonna have to spend. So we're putting a W58 used action clutch, one of our mount kits on here, and getting this motor prepped to go in the car. We're gonna be swapping it in. I'm gonna be doing the old school kind of like drift car, ratchet, fucking wire up and startup kind of thing going on. And we're gonna get the bay on this thing cleaned up. So let me go ahead and flip the camera, show you what we're working with today, and we'll get right into it. So as we can see, rear sump, Mark IV. 2JZ GE 93, 94 motor. Just, you know, used motor that ran good in the car. So a lot more reliable than that thing. This thing has the plugs out. It's got no distributor, no oil pump drive in it. It's missing the tensioner for the timing chain, the bracket for the alternator, the lower intake manifold assembly. We got injectors just thrown on the dashboard, boxes of parts. Just was not really wanting to do this, especially because they said this motor had been rebuilt. I don't know about rebuilt, but it looks like the head's been pulled off before. Customer wants us to do compression and see if the motor's worth saving, or if they have somebody that might want to buy this for their car. I don't really like KAs. I don't really like messing with KAs. Did it for years. Try to stay away from that. It is an original 5-speed car. There's a transmission. Car is manual. You can see the master right there. We're gonna have to clean this bay up because it's pretty gross. But for now, you know, I'm gonna just basically go ahead and get the motor prep together. Hopefully get it in the car today. Maybe I can just wire it up and start it. We do have a Ka24 harness there. I'm gonna have to chop up to go ahead and wire up his car. Yeah, I mean, interior wise on the car, it's not too horrible. It's actually kind of okay, just kind of messy, but it's all there. So we're gonna get everything all cleaned up for him and get it running so he can have something that he can street. This is one of our old customers named Alex. He used to be with us like probably 10 years ago. So we had a KAT set up in his car and an SR in one of his other cars. So yeah, let's go ahead and get going. We have our mount kit right here that I'm already ready to go with and everything. So had this saved for a while, but these are our mount brackets that we typically use for everything for S13 with the JZ swap. We have our action used clutch right here with a lightweight flywheel and an OEM disc. You'll get to see that later when we go ahead and put that in. This is a stage 2 clutch. Disc is right here. You know, nothing too crazy, just OEM disc that we got lying around. And yeah, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and get the heater lines looped up. We're gonna go ahead and delete a few of the emissions as I've already done. And we cannot put the rear sump motor in a front sump car. So we're gonna have to go ahead and convert this to front sump. And we have a NA assembly right here. It's already been cleaned up and wire wheeled. So let's flip the motor over, get this new pan on here so we can actually get this thing to fit in the car. We'll bolt on the mount brackets, we'll bolt the clutch on, get the tranny that we're gonna be putting in this car on. I have a, so basically W55 conversion, W58. IS300 shifter does fit pretty decent in the S13. I've done it before a couple years ago. So we're gonna go ahead and use that shifter assembly so we can make it fit in the middle. I gotta make one-piece drive shaft. We're gonna get an SR radiator. We're gonna probably do some AEG fans like we typically do. So the car will never overheat and rip out all these freaking emissions that he has in here. This is a base model 240, no AC actually in the car. It's pretty crazy to see something like that, but we're gonna go ahead and get it all going. So let's jump right into it. And just like that, she pulled apart. So looks absolutely great inside. Cylinder walls look really, really good. No play in anything at all. Everything just looks really, really nice. But once again, we have this motor from a running vehicle, so not really too worried about it. Definitely needed an oil change. It was very, very dirty coming out, but that's expected on a high mileage motor that was daily driven. So yeah, we're that one's off, putting that one on. Let's go ahead and get it on. Alrighty guys, let's show you where we are at. So action clutch, stage 2 with the lightweight flywheel is on. You can see the chromoly black flywheel on there. I've already deleted some of the emissions and stuff too. Power steering, AC stuff is all bolted on, so we can go ahead and support that power steering pump since the customer doesn't really want to spend very much money and get the AC delete bracket. We've already gone ahead and looped the heater lines in the back. So pretty much we're gonna go ahead and get our rebuilt W58. You can see the silicone on the back here where the transmission internal has been swapped over and done with our IS300 style shifter. That should fit pretty good in the S13. So I'm gonna go ahead and mount this on. I gotta go find some hardware for the starter. I have a 1J starter down over there on the floor over there. You can kind of see, whoop, right there, that we're gonna go ahead and throw on and test obviously before I put it in, because I don't wanna have to deal with it again. I've already gone ahead and plugged in the headers from one of our other years that we had over there. We have another motor over there. Went ahead and stole the headers off of that to put on this. Engine brackets are on and done. Thermostat delete's finished. I can pretty much get this in, bolt the cross member in, and start to go ahead and maybe wire this thing up. I do need to do a little bit of cleanup in here, which I'm going to try to do right now actually, just to kind of avoid having to deal with any of this later. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove the harness up and out so I can kind of get to it, leave some of the parts down here that I'm gonna need for wiring. All the S chassis that you wire will all have these connectors down here. There's a big gray one and also a brown one down in here somewhere. I'll remove the windshield wiper assembly there anyways. And those will be where you're gonna get your fuel pump wiring, your ignition power, everything too. The EGR assembly needs to get pulled out. Obviously, we need to go ahead and pull the heater line stuff out because we've already looped those, pull the evap stuff out. So quick little blow through on that. And then obviously when I get the motor in, I'll scrub everything down. We have a new overflow tank for this too. So without further ado, let me not make this video 20 minutes long again for no reason, because it's gonna be pretty simple and pretty easy. Unfortunately, the car is open diff. So besides doing maybe a burnout, I don't think we're gonna do much more than that one wheel fire. But let's go ahead and get the trans on and hope for the best when we fire it up. Alrighty guys, so another morning. We have the 2JZ in the car and I'm working on the wiring. Let me show you where we're at right now. We should be able to get this thing fired up today, so let's go. So mind the mess, we got the oil on the floor. We're gonna go ahead and pour oil in this thing because obviously we swapped the oil pan, so the motor is empty. I already have the Mark IV harness running across the dash cowl in front of the car, and I've already gone ahead and made my battery location. Battery is going from the front to the trunk now. We got a ground in the trunk. We have our 2 wires for our alternator and to power up our fuse box. I've already gone ahead and put an eyelet on the main power wires for the fuse box that's underneath the master airflow sensor right now bolted together. We will need to be going ahead, and I had to convert the intake pipe kind of from a Mark IV one, from and an SC one to run the correct master airflow sensor. Already went ahead and replaced the wire here that we did rip, pulling the motor out, I guess. I've gone ahead and already ordered our custom fans for the radiator. Radiator should be here in a couple days. We have our high pressure power steering line that we need to convert to the pump so we can make it all work. Really, really cool on the GE because the reservoir is built into the pump. So we don't need to deal with any of the stuff on the side of the car, which is kind of nice. So I need to tighten down the engine mounts. So I need to go ahead and do the ground so we can get power to it. But I do have power to the chassis. Upon that, I do know how to wire both these harnesses up, obviously, because I used to wire up a lot of SRs and I've wired up plenty of JZs. But basically, if anybody doesn't want to know, your start signal is going to come from your fuse box. You're going to have this black with yellow wire off of the 2-pin connector here. It's a pretty big size wire. You need to run that to your starter wire either down there or on your harness. In the case of the SC, the Mark IV, it is on the connectors here that go to the fuse box here. So I've already went ahead and wired that up. I've already gotten our fuel pump jump wire, which if any of you guys want to know, and you're trying to test your fuel pump and you're wiring something up in an S13, I'm going to give you a little trick. On this brown connector right here, you're going to have a black with pink stripe wire. On the wiring, you'll see basically right here where I've already grounded it, it is right there. Kind of an ugly, not really super pink, but kind of whitish pink wire. But if you ground that, your fuel pump will trigger with the ignition. You're just grounding the relay at the fuse box. S chassis are pretty easy to wire up, so once again, not a big deal. I already have ignition from the fuse box to the key. I'm powering up the harness already. I'm not going to run through too much of how to wire up the GE because I don't need to do that for you guys. You guys can figure that out yourself. But anyways, I've kind of already looped everything. I'm hoping I have power to everything. We're just going to fire this thing up. Gavin's going to go ahead and pour the fluid in the motor, and then I will go over the dash wiring for you guys just so that you guys can know what colors they're going to be on these cars. It's actually really easy to get your tack and your temp working in the car, and not too hard. So without further ado, let me keep going with this and getting some of the stuff done. I will clean the wiring up at the end. Obviously, this is a merge 2 harness kind of, backyard drift car, shit box kind of build. So, we're not going to do the fully custom harness like we do on all the full race motors on the beautiful cars that we do here. This is like my KA is blown up. I need this car running. I want to go drifting. I want to do burnouts and do ratchet shit. And who in the car? What can we do for cheap? So here you go, guys. Super cheap. Drift car 101. Let's go. So obviously, first problem with the shit box getting towed in that didn't run when it came in, car does not have gas in it. So after grounding the fuel pump, you hear meow and just don't hear anything. Like if there's nothing in the line to begin with and the pump's about to burn up. So just had to go to the gas station and fill up our good old jerry can right here with the nice 5 gallons of gas at, you know, $5 and something cents a gallon. Good old California. So I'm going to put that in, and just to show the customer, because, you know, some people don't seem to believe mechanic shops of what's going on, even though, you know, we're super truthful over here at Sideways. Let's get the key forward and we'll show him. Yeah, bro, your gas is super great. You know, it's all the way beyond low, below low actually. So let's get that gas in there, and hopefully his level unit isn't broken, and regardless, there's no noise from the trunk. So let's go ahead and get some gas in this girl. Alrighty, so real quick, we're just gonna do a quick test on everything real quick. So can you put the key forward, Gavin? Anyways, technical difficulty. Turn the lights off though for the headlights. Anyways, so down here I've looped the power wires. We have voltage, so we're good. We're gonna go ahead and check at the coil. Make sure the coil's got power on both sides, which, let's see if I can get this in frame. We do. Anyway, tested the coil, that's cool. ECU, I've already tested the powers there. You're gonna have these pins on this connector. That's gonna be the separate connector here. Bottom corner connectors are gonna have a big solid black with red back here, and black with orange. So, you know, that's kind of 2 little hints for you guys. I've already tested the ignition to make sure it cranks with this. And then down here, I have ignition power as well. Sorry, I'm not getting a good connection. Boom, boom, boom. We're obviously not soldered and shrink wrapped yet, so we're doing good there. I've already went ahead. Don't forget, you guys, anything factory, if your igniter chip is not grounded, it is not going to start. That's how this whole system works. If this is not grounded and you do not have a good ground behind it, you're going to have a problem. So we should be able to crank it and start it. I guess we'll see how good the motor is right now. Just turn the key. Nice. So give it a second. She sounds fucking healthy as fuck. Leave it running. Give it a few seconds. We put a fresh 6 quarts of oil in this thing. Idle's down good. Let's check to see if we have charging. That would be really bad if we didn't. See what we're charging real quick. So I have already gone ahead and hooked up the wire that I needed. Let's go ahead and test it while cranking. Go ahead and start it. .2, 14.3. Looks good to me. All right, let's let her idle and run. Alrighty guys, so new day. I'm here at the shop. Let me show you where we're at. I got a lot of stuff I got to get done today, but we're pretty much done with this car. It does run and idle pretty good, so we got to test the trans, do a whole bunch of stuff, but let me show you where we're at right now. Let's go. Alrighty, so real quick, I've got the AEG fans in. It is a absolutely great and amazing fit. I will maybe make a video about this later, but these are the Mercedes AEG fans from like basically a 90s Mercedes. They are absolutely amazing. I use them in a lot of our cars. It's a belt driven ball bearing motor, just super badass. I'll show you when the car's running at how like much CFM they push. I've never had an overheating issue with these at all. So I'm gonna go ahead. I have this brand new radiator right here that we're gonna be installing. Brand new SR one. I gotta pull the fans off that did not fit and put them in there real quick. And then we'll get the hoses hooked up and some coolant in this thing and then get it going. So let me go ahead and get that done real quick and we'll keep moving. I've already gone ahead and wired up the S13 connectors for the chassis over here. Gave power to the 2JZ harness from the factory wiring harness. I've gone ahead and already wired up my relay, my 30 amp fusible linked relay to be able to basically quick disconnect the fans on and off if I needed to for diagnostic purposes. I mean, obviously there's wiring everywhere. I don't like doing stuff like this, but this is kind of just like a get it together, get it going. Let's go hit the track. Let's go do some donuts, kind of ratchet, kind of drift car 101 build. I mean, all in all, the car will drive perfect and not have any issues, but just would like to just kind of go over the fact I don't usually wire stuff up like this, just kind of get it done. Let's go, who cares, you know, but this is how we're gonna go ahead and go. So I have already purchased and already gotten our ISR clutch line we're gonna have to go ahead and put in, because obviously the slave cylinder was on that side of the car. There was a hard line that is somewhere over there on the floor that we're not gonna run anymore. We're gonna go braided. We're gonna go ahead and put those in. I have already purchased our conversion line from P2M, and we're gonna go ahead and be installing this for the high pressure power steering line that will go from the racked and pinion to the power steering pump, and then one hose down to there, and we'll have power steering as easy as just filling it up at the reservoir. So that'll be super, super nice. Inside the car, I've already gone ahead and I've already ran the harness through the firewall. You can see the 2JZ harness down there, 2JZ computer down there. Shifter sits right in the middle like it's supposed to. So, I mean, I already have the drive shaft in. I'll get underneath and do another shot of that, but the radiator hoses are in right now. We're gonna go ahead and fill it up, make sure there's no leaks on the water lines that we've welded up and gotten rid of. And then I'll finish the wiring on the inside to be able to get a tack and temp signal to the cluster. Depending on if this actually was a true twin cam cluster. If it's a single cam cluster, you'll never have tack. You'll have to actually swap the cluster or run a tack adapter. If it's a twin cam chassis, which it does look like it's a twin cam chassis, that cluster should work. And we should be able to get it. Like I said, tack and temp shouldn't be a problem to wire up. So I'm going to wire the Toyota sensors to the Nissan cluster. I will show you how to do that too, because it's really, really easy. You can actually find that pretty much anywhere. He's got a bunch of parts in the car I'm not really going to be worried about, because he needs to deal with all that stuff, but we will be tucking the wiring, mounting the battery box in the back, and then doing some test driving. He's got a blown out tire, which is going to be kind of fun, because we're going to have to just keep filling it up and see what happens. But everything's grounded, everything's bolted down, and I mean, she does run really, really good. So let's keep working at this. I'm going to try to do obviously more cleanup at the end, but I mean, we are utilizing a factory MK4 wiring harness in a S13. So, I mean, having stuff be like this at the end and having to just, you know, fasten it against the wall and stuff, I'll do all that stuff at the end. So let's get this stuff together and let's keep going. Alrighty guys, so it is test drive time. Let me go ahead and show you how this thing looks real quick, and then we'll go ahead and do some rips in the car and see what's going on. So, you know, typical 240 with a license plate coming off. I actually was able to go ahead and mod out my MK3 exhaust for this thing. It looks super stock, and I mean, the exhaust is pretty low because the car's pretty low, you can kind of see, but all in all, it's all together and on the car. So battery box is in the trunk, nice and mounted with the brand new battery in there. You can kind of see it back there behind everything. You know, shifters in here. The IS300 shifter for the housing on these things kind of leans to the right. I guess I could have put it either or way, but it does work. I don't have a shift knob for that. I don't know what thread that is. It's not Toyota. Tack works. You'll see that while I'm driving. Let me pop the hood real quick. Mind you, she's not the prettiest thing in the world, but she is in the car. So 2JZ 240 is completed. So braided clutch lines in, custom braided power steering lines in, radiators in, AEG fans are in. So, I mean, all in all, I'm pretty happy. I went ahead and raised the car because it was just dragging exhaust on the floor. So let's go do some rips. She sounds exactly how I expected her to sound, super fucking stock. So maybe you might want to get a MAF adapter later so the idle can kind of smooth out a little bit better, because we do have fans in here. But let's go ahead and do some rips and just see how she does, see how that clutch holds up. I mean, it felt pretty good when I drove it, but I mean, I want to get it on video anyways for the customer. So let's go. Oh my God, we got tack. And temperature's so dang old cold that she reads all the way down. Yeehaw, brother. That gas gauge is gonna need some attention there though, brother. You're gonna have to pull that fuel pump out of there because you got a broken baffle in your fuel tank. Oh my God. But it's gonna be interesting to kind of see out of this thing. I don't know how we're even gonna record this. Let's go. Drifto 101, brother. Woohoo! It actually feels pretty fucking good, bro.
Oh, good. This seat's not
I mean, it's just what it is, brother. Woo! The brakes work. They do fucking work. Fucking amazing. It looks to me like the clutch works pretty good. Ooh, look at that torque right there, brother. Yeah. 220 horsepower. Woo! Not have a open diff, dude. It slid like it was.
Yeah, kind of.
LSD.
Is it thudding like it's an LSD?
No, it's just thudding like it's got a bunch of loose suspension.
Yeah.
Power! Oh my god, fucking dirt in my eye. Middle of the day. What's up, Becky?
The fucking seat, bro. It just shifted.
Well, she runs pretty good, brother. Job well done. Job well done. No, 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 no. Hold us up to you. No, 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 no. Yeah. Well, that was a lot of fun. A little bit of skid racing in the 240. Bring back the old days. Anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. We're gonna clean up. We have a lot of other cars we have to work on. There's a mess everywhere. Got to get John's car on the dyno. So yeah, till next time, guys. Peace.